Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very interesting video, right? Because, we have the updates, the news, the rumors, the leaks, but it all kind of points towards a new Nintendo Direct. And there's also some official stuff coming from Nintendo that could point towards a Nintendo Direct coming this week, probably in the next few days. So regardless, I think this is going to be a huge week for Nintendo, and it's very exciting. So let's go ahead and get right into this one. So if you can't hear it in my voice, I'm stuffed up. It could be the allergies, or I could be sick. And the only remedy or antidote for this is a new Nintendo Direct. So if I continue to be sick, it is officially on Nintendo. And that's not the kind of bad juju Nintendo wants. Just give us a Nintendo Direct, bro. Is it really too much to ask for? I don't think so. Very exciting stuff is happening. Like, a lot of stuff has happened. We also have some huge Zelda updates as well. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep the communities growing. And remember, every Thursday we stream now. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this one. So the first thing I actually want to do is talk about Tomodachi Life again quickly. Because this is actually very interesting and it shows you an insight into the way Nintendo works. And I heard that the same thing kind of happened multiple times, like Fire Emblem Engage is one example, I think. But Nintendo will have games done, fully completed, like won't even touch them, and they'll just let them sit there for a year or more. Like, I heard Fire Emblem Engage was completed like a year or two before the game even released. And it seems like the same exact thing went on for Tomodachi Life, because according to the German software ratings organization, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream was completed and tested all the way back in May of 2025. And then I guess people are able to find like the Brazilian ratings as well for this all the way back in 2025. So Nintendo's just been sitting on this, which is pretty funny. So then we know we have Rhythm Heaven Groove coming out. But then it makes you sit back and think about those rumored Wind Waker and Twilight HD ports, and Kirby Planet Robobot like port as well. And I think there's one more game that I'm missing, but these games that were rumored to be done for a long time and we just never seen them, maybe those will be showing up in this next Nintendo Direct. And Nintendo's just been waiting for the right time to release these. So this just confirms that Nintendo does in fact sit on games for quite a while, and it's actually pretty interesting. Now, a few days ago, I think people found listings for Elden Ring on Amazon, and we've seen it had an $80 price point, as well as going to be a game keycard, which makes sense. I think the game with the DLC is like 100 and something gigabytes, and then the game by itself is 75 or something like that. Like, it would only fit on a game keycard. Now, there was a counter argument, why not just give us a game on a cartridge and let the DLC be a download code? And that actually, I would prefer that, but to be honest, it is what it is. Now, this is coming from Bandai Namco, right? And the whole reason I'm talking about this is because today, the new Dragon Ball Z game, Xenoverse 3, was officially revealed and is coming out in 2027. But when they show the consoles that the game is coming to, it does not show the Switch 2 at all, which is kind of crazy. And then this sparked a conversation online, like, yeah, everything Bandai Namco is touching right now is coming over to the Switch 2 extremely late. Like, we're still waiting on Elden Ring. And then we have Digimon Time Story Stranger or whatever. I believe Bandai Namco is working on that as well. Again, this is coming out in the summer. And then Xenoverse 3, it's probably going to come out like a year or two later. So, we have Bandai Namco playing stuff this way, but then we have Capcom and Square Enix like supporting it almost overly, right? And it just shows you this big contrast of the way certain publishers or developers are supporting the Switch 2. And sometimes I think stuff is just being blown out of proportion, but here I do think there is something to pay attention to, and it's something I hope Bandai Namco will eventually fix. So now let's talk about the Legend of Zelda, right? We know that this is the 40th anniversary. There is the rumored Ocarina of Time remake, which is going to be amazing. Whatever it turns out to be, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Now, normally you would expect us to get maybe one other game as well, some cool amiibos. There's a rumored special edition Switch 2 that's going to come out with Ocarina of Time remake. But the big thing is we have the movie coming next year. So if they start marketing in the summer, which they should, we'll probably get the first trailer around then. So, we're all waiting for that. but we do have a couple huge leaks coming from the movie recently, and it's all very exciting. So maybe you've seen this logo going around over the weekend that says Legend of Zelda Stunt Department, and people are like, is this the official logo for the movie? You can see it's just a logo, but there's a little flower coming out of the Z, and that looks awesome. It looks premium, right? So I don't think this is this fake or is it not faked? I'm pretty sure this is legit, especially because this was leaked by one of these stunt department's actual members. So this is cool. Now, I was just only going to talk about this in this video and say it was cool, like I already did. We've already got past that point. But at the time of recording this video, like while I was putting all my stuff together, another leak came out from maybe a producer or, somebody who was actually working on the film. And I think we have an official real look at what Link is going to look like in the movie. Like we've seen the pictures Nintendo put out, but those were just Link and Zelda sitting like down. There's no equipment or no Master Sword or no tunic or anything really. But we have this picture right here. And again, you have to remember this is coming officially from the crew. So I know it's like an edited photo or like a stylized photo, but it shows Link, and I gotta say, he looks badass in this picture. So, I went from saying I'm not a fan of this whole Zelda movie thing, especially with it being live action, because Zelda is my favorite franchise and I don't want them to tarnish it. But this is Nintendo and they actually care about their IPs. So it's probably going to be good, but you never know. But more and more things that we're seeing from it or hearing about it, I'm starting to become really on board. Now the only big question is, what is Link going to sound like? Because it's just weird that Link says like 3 words in all of the Zelda games, and now he's going to be a fully voiced character. Time will tell on all this, but I expect us to see more and more leaks happening very soon. Like I think another character actually just got revealed as well. But yeah, man, this is very exciting stuff. Now let's talk about a Nintendo Direct, right? I've went back and forth saying a partner showcase makes the most sense, but then there's also big stuff from Nintendo that they need to talk about. Now, Nintendo's probably going to have a huge Nintendo Direct in June, but who's to say they can't have multiple Directs, one in April, May, and June? Who's to say they can't do that? If you're saying that, what the hell is wrong with you, man? We need Nintendo Directs. Like, yes, the Switch 2 has games. I get it. But we need first-party stuff. Now, there is some exciting third-party stuff we're waiting for as well, but there's like 20 games that have leaked out through ratings boards and trademarks over the past couple of weeks. You know this. So we're not going to mention all those again, but now we have even more. And then on top of that, we have some information coming from Nintendo that sometimes this happens right before a Direct. So on the THQ Nordic website, they have it labeled that they have 7 games currently in development or that are upcoming for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, there is a couple games that I think they talked about recently. I know Disney Epic Mickey Rebrush Switch 2 Edition, I think was one of them. And then Destroy All Humans, I think that might have been another one. And then something else as well. I think, I could be wrong, right? But I don't know if these 7 games include those or it's those including 7 more games. Now, these aren't going to be like the craziest games of all time. They kind of work with like a lot of IP stuff, like SpongeBob games as well, and stuff kind of similar to that, but it is still great stuff that you want to play. So, could any of these be shown off in the next Nintendo Direct, right? So then again, this leans towards a partner showcase. Like, yeah, third party can be shown off in a first party Direct, but when you're having like 30 third party games rated or leaked out, it's like, okay, it's probably going to be a partner showcase. So at this point, I went back and forth. I think like 4 or 5 days ago, I was all in on a first party Direct, but now I think I might be back on partner showcase mode. But then again, there's a Star Fox game that is rumored to be revealed any day. Some people are thinking last week, but with Tomodachi Life, I just wasn't seeing it. I was saying next week, which is the week we have right here. But then that game is rumored to be revealed on the Nintendo Today app, which is just a bonkers way to reveal a game. So then that makes me think it's not going to be like a huge, big thing. I've been saying I think it's going to be tied to Nintendo Online. So, they could reveal Star Fox on the Nintendo Today app, and we still get a partner showcase. And I would be okay with that. Because the faster, I guess, we get this partner showcase out of the way, or all these games that have been rated out of the way, we can really start focusing on those first-party games. Because, look, I know it gets old saying it, but we really do need a first-party direct. Because why are you buying a Switch 2 at this point, right? Just to play third-party games? I don't think so. Now, something that happens right before a direct or the week of, I don't want to say all the time, but I want to say a lot of the time. At least that's the way I remember. I could be wrong. But sometimes, yeah, we'll say the word sometimes actually. Sometimes when a Nintendo Direct is coming up, Nintendo will have scheduled maintenance. And that's actually happening, this evening. So the day this video comes out, I think the maintenance would have already happened. Yeah, I think this is April 19th. And this article says DLC and virtual game cards will be impacted for the Switch 2. And then this is also happening on the Switch as well. Okay, so I'm actually reading this list right here. And I guess it wasn't the 19th. This is going to be going on from the 20th to the 21st, depending if you're in the US, Europe, or the UK. So that would take us into the 22nd. I think the 22nd is a Wednesday. So Nintendo Direct on Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, that's a huge possibility here. So regardless if we get a Nintendo Direct, and I am leaning that way, I think this is going to be a big week for Nintendo. I think there's some really cool stuff on the way. And this is going to be nice because, don't get me wrong, we have been getting releases here and there. Like we have Tamagotchi Life, which is technically a Switch game. And we also have Yoshi coming out in May. So there are games coming out, but I just feel like there's a big gap still that Nintendo, could definitely fill out and reassure you the reason why you bought a Switch 2, right? Like, I know there's games out there and not everybody's played everything, but yeah, a lot of the games that I'm playing on my Switch 2, I can currently play on other consoles. So I would like to have a reminder of the reason why I bought my Switch 2, if that makes sense. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. So in the comments below, I would love to hear from you. Truly, it would mean the world to me. Just start a conversation. Do you think we're getting a Nintendo Direct this week? Do you think there's any big announcements this week? Just let me know. And if you made it to this part of the video, if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe on the way out. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter on the way out. And consider becoming a channel member. We have 17. I would love to get to 20 because now we're streaming every Thursday. And we're just going to hang out together. And that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys soon with a new video. Peace.